like my biggest number one thing, and people are going to like gloss over this, but don't gloss over this. This is money, is listicles. So we do like top 7 roofers in city. And then we do that for all the cities and we do that for all the trades. And we put ourselves in the list, but we're listing our competitors. And we have homeowners not only that find us through those lists, and we do niche lists too, like Da Vinci roof installers, like all these niche lists too. Not only are people finding us through Google on there, they're finding us through ChatGPT. And not only are they finding us on there, they're citing that as the reason that they're moving forward with us, because we're not negative towards competitors. We're positive towards competitors. And that feels like a legitimate company. So don't be scared to list your competitors. Don't be scared to make it real criteria like, hey, do they have above a 4.7 star rating? And are they credited by the BBB or whatever else you want to use as your criteria? And then use that criteria to make these lists. And I'm using Claude to help me with that.
This episode is brought to you by 10X Nerds. If you're a business owner doing real revenue, there's a good chance you're overpaying in areas you haven't even looked at. Things like credit card processing, insurance, telecom, and more. 10X Nerds comes in, audits your expenses across 30 plus categories, and finds immediate savings. And here's the kicker. They only get paid if they save you money. It's a complete no-brainer. If you want to keep more of what you make, go check them out at 10xnerds.com. This episode is brought to you by my friend Silas Lagoy over at ForgeMark Wealth. If you're a high-income business owner or professional and feel like you're getting crushed by taxes, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not stuck. ForgeMark Wealth specializes in advanced legal tax strategies and wealth planning designed to help you keep more of what you make, grow it efficiently, and actually build long-term freedom, not just income. If you're making serious money but don't have a real strategy behind it yet, I highly recommend connecting with Silas and his team.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Big Hitters Podcast. I'm on with Tim Brown. Tim has been on my radar for a while. He's been incredibly hard to pin down because he's a serial guy. He's got a lot of stuff going on. Hook Agency, Owl Roofing, a best-selling author. Tim, you have a podcast as well. So, man, what my first question for the serial guys is like, what takes up most of your brain space? Like today, what were you spending most of your time and energy thinking about?
Yeah, so Owl Roofing, anytime you start a new business, and this is really my second business ever, lots of projects, but Owl Roofing is the thing I'm like the most obsessed about right now, just because it's also like a test of all these theories. As I've started this marketing company, I've been talking to people, trying to provide value to home service businesses, but it's hard to know as much as you know from being in the trenches. So being in the trenches now, just having a lot more things I can share with our marketing agency clients, but also I'm just obsessed with the growth of this business. So, whether or not it's helpful to our marketing agency clients, I'm just in it to win it now with this company. And we just passed like 2.5 million. It's our first year. I think we'll do 5 to 7. So we'll see how it goes this year, but it's been a very good experience testing a bunch of stuff that I've been recommending. And, like when you recommend, when you're a coach and I've never been a coach per se, but when you're helping people, it's hard to get them to do all the things you tell them to do. So now I'm just doing all the things that I was telling everyone to do. And it's working. And I'm really proud of us and my team for doing that. And it's also fun to just apply like all the things I've learned this last 10 years, making this marketing agency to make a home service business.
This episode is brought to you by Corberry Digital. If you own an HVAC, plumbing, electrical, roofing, or home service business and you're tired of wondering where your next lead is coming from, you need to check out Corberry Digital. Corberry specializes exclusively in helping home service companies dominate their local markets through SEO, Google Ads, local service ads, websites, content marketing, and lead generation systems that actually produce a measurable ROI. Their team doesn't just focus on clicks and impressions. They help contractors lower customer acquisition costs, increase qualified leads, and build a marketing engine that scales. What I like about Corberry is they understand the blue-collar space. They aren't trying to be everything to everyone. Their entire focus is helping trades businesses win in their backyard and generate more profitable jobs. If you're looking to grow your business, improve your online visibility, and build a marketing system that works, visit coreberry.com and schedule a strategy session with their team. That's coreberry.com. Tell them you heard about them on the podcast. What's up, everybody? This podcast is sponsored by Grimes Financial Advisors. You've spent time and energy building a successful business, but here's the question. Do you have a real retirement plan or just a pile of investments? Our friends at Grimes Financial Advisors specialize in helping business owners and families create a clear roadmap for retirement through their proprietary retirement blueprint. Instead of focusing only on investments, they look at the entire picture: income planning, taxes, long-term care, legacy planning, and making sure your money is actually working for the life you want to live. I've gotten to know Dustin personally. One of the things that I respect most about him is he believes every financial decision should fit into a bigger plan. You shouldn't just chase returns. So whether you're 5 years from retirement or simply want a second opinion on your financial strategy, I highly recommend reaching out to Dustin and his team. Visit Grimes Financial Advisors to schedule your consultation and start building your own retirement blueprint.
What did you have any background with why roofing? I mean, did you just think I kind of need to start my own blue collar service, and you wanted to go into roofing of all things?
So we have like 100 roofing clients at the agency. So I've just known a lot of people in the roofing space for a long time. And I think part of it was like, I encouraged my friend, he decided to do it. That's what he decided to do. And then he asked me to be part of it. So I'm actually only 42.5% owner of this company, sales leader as the main other owner. And then we have 2 production guys. One who has had his contractor's license for 15 years, a little bit more like, he's legit. And he asked me to be part of it, but roofing has been really good because I have a lot of connections there. And so we were just talking about Randy Brothers, amazing coaching, consulting person for roofing, and just people trying to help us, right? It's really nice to have a community that's trying to help you. And I think I'm trying to set myself up that way. Now, the roofers in Minnesota do not like that I started this company because I was previously serving the space, and then we got rid of our clients in Minnesota and then started. So it's been an interesting thing where it's the resistance is there, and we kind of have a good amount of resistance. So I'm every once in a while I always get in my head, I'm is this because I'm doing something wrong? Or
so wait, hold on a second.
Or do people just not like to compete? Sorry, go ahead.
Hook Agency, you basically said, hey, if you're in Minnesota, we can't serve you anymore.
Yeah. Exactly.
Interesting. Where do they all go?
Twin Cities specifically, because we're not like a storm chaser. We're local roofers. So Twin Cities. We do have some South Minnesota people. Well, just there's some natural fall off. And then one of them we had to kind of give the news. But he had started a marketing agency, so it's kind of an easy transition there. And that stuff like that. It just kind of all fell into place. And the whole time I was just and I'm trying to follow the signs and what am I supposed to do with my life? Even at 40 years old, maybe it's a little bit of a midlife crisis, but I'm trying to follow what I'm supposed to do. Right. And it just, all the points pointed to do this. So I'm still kind of in that anticipating mode of why? Because it's been stressful as starting every business is, but I kind of have faith, that
out of
that
curiosity,
if I follow
what's been the most stressful part of it?
Yeah, stress of like I said, competitors being weird. We've had, when we've been documenting the whole thing, we put out a documentary on YouTube about all of it, where we had this storm hit, but insurance roofing is super cash intensive and not doesn't give you a lot of cash up front. So the cash flow crunch, and then I think the cash flow crunch and the competitors being weird are the 2 biggest ones. Yeah. If I wanted to get into the details of it, the production of jobs and the pass off between sales and production was the other big one. But those are my 3 biggest obstacles, hurdles that have kind of cut in a way that we're a little overwhelmed sometimes.
This podcast is sponsored by Action Coaching. If you're a home service business owner, ask yourself this: are you constantly chasing new leads or just keeping the business growing? Ben Jordan built a $100 million plumbing and HVAC company. Inside the Action Group, he teaches contractors how to create recurring revenue, strengthen leadership, improve sales, and build systems that reduce the owner's day-to-day involvement. Members get weekly coaching, practical templates, proven scripts, and strategies designed specifically for home service businesses. If you want to get out of the truck, build something that runs without you and creates real wealth, check out the Action Group on School and book your free consulting call.
Put us on some game with some marketing. I talked to a lot of roofers, and what's crazy to me is I talked to roofers, pest control guys. I guess I didn't realize that door knocking was like, not only is it a thing, it's like a newer thing. Like last 20 years, it's like had a resurgence.
Yeah.
And it kind of blows my mind a little bit that in an age of Google and AEO and all of the different things, that we're still knocking doors to acquire clients. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on marketing in general, and then any secret sauce for roofers.
Yeah, I think that that's almost why it's an opportunity. Anytime you have like the market flood towards a particular direction, in this case, you think about digital, and because I have that agency, I'll talk about all the good parts about that too, but it's also, it kind of opens up space because all these people want easy button, and sometimes digital feels like, oh, just put money here. Private equity does it too. They have a spreadsheet, and it's like, well, if I put in $300 here, I get one lead. It's like a cleaner math problem for them. And I think owners on a smaller level do that once they figure out they can pay for leads. Ideally, you're not paying for shared leads, but that's a whole nother story. Pay for leads specifically on Google, Facebook, etc. They just want to do that. It's just like boom, 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 boom. But it does have its natural limits. Whereas building a brand kind of pays you forever. And the types of things where you sow seeds and then later there's leads often, to me, seem to have the highest return. As a guy who studies this stuff and has for 15 years, specifically for home services, this last 8 years or whatever, but going hard on leads, right? I believe in brand. And so to put people on game, it's not any of the hacks, although I'll go into those if you want. To me, it's building a brand. We're out at home shows, like we just went to Taste of Shoreview, which is our little, local community. We gave out 300 stuffed owls. So this is us, boots on the ground, nuts and bolts, and we got roofs from that. But we're sowing seeds, positivity in the community. And I think that like as much as people can ideally half invest in that type of stuff, not just the like money in, money out stuff, they're going to essentially build like a moat in their area. And when private equity comes to compete, they're going to run up against a wall because there's actually like this local presence, the stronghold that you've got because people have emotional connection to your brand. So to me, all the hacks in the world, and I love AEO, I'll go into a few things there. But this is to me the first thing, because a lot of people want to look for that hack, and it's like, you're not that guy. Oh, that's rude. But you're not that guy. You're not going to be the guy who, a lot of you are not going to be the tech hack guy. And I really believe that. I think a lot of people but you can easily be the local presence at the events, giveaways, friendly face, and your team is out there in the community. And you're doing like stuff like charity and stuff. It's way easier to do that than to be like this super AEO, super tech, like those people exist. And I am also doing that. So I'll share some things there. Let's just get into it. So on that side,
let's do it.
We've done a lot, like my biggest number one thing, and people are going to like gloss over this, but don't gloss over this. This is money, is listicles. So we do like top 7 roofers in city. And then we do that for all the cities, and we do that for all the trades. And we put ourselves in the list, but we're listing our competitors. And we have homeowners not only that find us through those lists, and we do niche lists too, like Da Vinci roof installers, like all these niche lists too. Not only are people finding us through Google on there, they're finding us through ChatGPT. And not only are they finding us on there, they're citing that as the reason that they're moving forward with us, because we're not negative towards competitors. We're positive towards competitors. And that feels like a legitimate company. So don't be scared to list your competitors. Don't be scared to make it real criteria like, hey, do they have above a 4.7 star rating? And do they, are they credited by the BBB or whatever else you want to use as your criteria, and then use that criteria to make these lists. And I'm using Claude to help me with that. The mistake people would make, and there is watermarking now that Claude is doing, so I'm trying to figure out how that's going to affect the strategy. I'm kind of glad I got all this done before Claude started to watermark. That's news, by the way, breaking news. Claude is now trying to have a watermark in their content.
Can you just run it through Grok? I feel like Elon's will do anything.
I'm sure you can. Yeah. There's got to be a way, but the trick is not making it like bust out 20 of these blog posts at once. It's like saying, hey, can you do deep research? Can you make sure you're using this criteria? Can you make sure you're citing real reviews and actually pulling the content from those real reviews? I'm just going to be nerdy for a second. Can you add FAQ schema to these blog posts? Can you do question and answer format for AI search engines? Can you use the keywords and the synonyms in the subheadings? And can you use a copywriting formula at the beginning of this blog post? So if you just took what I just said there and made it into a prompt for Claude and said, go for it, but make only 5 or 3 blog posts at a time and make sure they're comprehensive and over 2,000 words, you may dominate as well. And it's crazy because that's literally the game. That's the game that I can put people on. And as soon as everyone copies me, then I'll have to be doing something, you know what I mean? Like, but they won't, and they don't, because they're all looking for an easy button. And you are, because there's a bunch of other easy buttons I could give you that are, I think people just get overwhelmed by this stuff and they don't touch it. But there's a lot of things you can do. And then, by the way, we are pairing that with backlinking. And that's all I'll say. You have to have backlinks to your website. So do things like guest posts and things like that. The funny thing is, a lot of this stuff, although I'm using Claude for some of it, is very similar to what I was saying 5 years ago for SEO. And they really do cross over. And so I think people get a little distracted by the AEO thing, not knowing that they're really similar.
It's all the same principles is what you're saying.
Yeah, similar mechanisms. You can do things specifically for AEO, but once you do them, they kind of get a little bit, once they start getting gamed a lot, both ChatGPT, Claude, and also Google will start to filter them out. Like, for instance, the self-list thing doesn't really work on ChatGPT as much anymore. It still works on Google, but it's not working on ChatGPT. And also Reddit comments. So like ChatGPT cites Reddit comments. You should go look, like if you go roofers in city, then go look at what it's citing. And a lot of times it's Reddit, and you need to go into those Reddit threads. Do like, hey, I'd recommend this company, and this company, because you don't want to look just purely promotional, and then put that as a comment. And ChatGPT really is using Reddit because it thinks it's like a pure customer thing, and like you can easily say it without being dishonest that you'd recommend these 3 companies, and talk about 2 other good competitors in your area. That's what I'd recommend as far as like AEO stuff. But that backlinks and listicles.
So I don't know actually what a listicle is. What is that?
Yeah, it's like 7 roofers in city.
And
it's a blog post.
Where do you pump? It's just a blog post.
So you put it on your blog, and then you list 7 competitors. You talk about in depth. It needs to be comprehensive. This isn't like
it's basically like blog. It's like basically like BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed is pretty much all listicles.
Sure. Yep. Anytime, it's like a number and then a thing, and it also has high click-through rate. Why does it matter? When you Google roofers in city, for some reason, that's a high click-through rate. So people like Angie are getting that click right now. People like BBB are getting that click right now. People like your manufacturer are getting that click right now with their directory, because they don't care who they choose. And that's what the people want. They want like a kind of a more like, give me a couple options. I don't want just one company. So your page for that city isn't ranking on Google, but the blog post shoots to the top because it feels like it's clickable. It's what the people want. You have to give the people what they want.
Yeah. Why start a roofing company at all? It seems like you
Yeah.
are very well, with the marketing stuff. I feel like you could have continued to scale that. I mean, is that pretty much running by itself?
Yeah. So, I mean, it was a good opportunity to let the person that I had in place that's like the president of the company take a shot at running it. And I really have, I haven't come in like the last 3 months. And he's running it, him and a chief of operations. So I have a leadership team in place. It was kind of like, this is an opportunity to let it rest on that leadership team and then not have dual leadership. Cause it's like me and my wife, they're kind of hovering over, trying to let them lead, but they're hovering over them, don't mess it up. And frankly, people need to be able to mess stuff up a little bit. If long term, this is a sturdy leadership team, they need to be able to make their own mistakes. They're doing a bunch of stuff I wouldn't do. Just even a ping pong table. You know what? I wouldn't do a motherfucking ping pong table at this point in my life.
Yeah.
But they're doing it. Hey, by the
Yeah.
way, can I not swear on this? I'll edit myself if I'm not supposed to swear.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Lance
I-
Bachman came on the other day and he was talking about sex for probably 5 or 6 minutes.
Oh, okay. I can do that too if we want to at the end. I got some kinks. But no, I just didn't want to there's just a bunch of stuff now that they're doing, and I'm like, why? You know, coffee machine and a ping pong ugh. You know what I mean? I'm getting a little bit cynical as a millennial leader where I'm I'm sick of all the frills. But it's they're doing what they want to do. And I believe that they will do a good job. One of the good reasons that it's good to let them lead is I start new stuff like I'm doing now at this company, but I start new stuff in the company a lot of times. So it's kind of distracting. 4 or 5 months before I left, it was I was preaching doomsday about AI a little bit because I was just trying to give them the stakes. It's if we don't innovate and go nuts on innovation and use these tools, they will kill us. And
what is these tools, Tim? What do you mean by that?
Claude Cowork and any other AI automation tools. And from my point of view, I had to give them that shot across the bow. And I think honestly, everyone out here listening to it, if you're not using Claude Cowork for as many things as possible, you're really losing out because there's so much opportunity. And now I literally half the time I've got my 2 computers, the one that this podcast is on and the one that's on. And a lot of times I'm sitting here with Claude Cowork in one, Claude Cowork in the other. I'm boom, 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 boom. And then I'm working on something else. So I'm working on basically 3 things at once with Claude Cowork. And I think people should be thinking that way and just using it as an opportunity to get ahead. And I think being creative about and asking other people, what are you using this for? Because there's so many things. And also I've given permission to all my team to use Claude. I've tried to say we're an AI first company. I want them all to use as many credits as they possibly can and should. We have Claude dashboards up on the TVs in the office. We have leaderboards and competitions, and part of it is AI driven. We've got the leaderboard is AI driven, you know what I mean? Through our CRM and stuff like that. Ultimately, using these things for leadership training, trainings, decks, using these things for dashboards, using these things for, content, using these things for brainstorming and our L10 agenda, just basically for everything. And I think, it's not really, it's not this crazy, weird competitive advantage because I know everyone is surging into this. But I will say it's kind of you're probably falling behind if you're not using these things more often because people just spend way too much time on things if you're not. At this point, it's also replacing softwares. You know what I mean? There's 3 to 4 softwares in the last week and a half that I've either don't have to buy. Actually, mostly it's don't have to buy. I had this EOS software, which I love. 90 that I've used in my other company that I'm not buying for this company because I kind of made my own. And then I've got like there's NZ, which is a leaderboard software that I think is really cool. Just made my own. You know what I mean? Like I'm essentially like duping software all day and using it for my roofing company.
I've been thinking this for a long time,
Yeah.
and I've had a lot of conversations about it. You know, there's some legacy software providers, especially in roofing, Job Nimbus, AccuLynx, you know, in the home service space, Service Titan. Service Titan's pricing model is insane to me. It's basically Oracle's pricing model, which is like they basically audit your finances. You run all your finances through them, so they see how much money you're making. I'm like, how long can that last? You know, when are people going to realize they can literally vibe code something? One of my previous guests was like, yeah, but you know, be careful because if you're taking payments through it, like it's subject to hackers and people can steal that if it's not well developed. But I still think there's an opportunity.
The payment portals and the financing portals and stuff like that, it's like they're going to be able to like harden and solidify sub modules that you can tack on to your vibe coded whatever. I bet you that's what I think is going to happen. I think there's going to be like these modules that you can install that like are essentially payment processing and stuff like that, but they're not like, you're not vibe coding a payment processing thing. You're just, you're creating, you know, the shell around it and the other tools. That's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah. I'm curious. You have, well, so here's one of my hot takes recently. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this, but I'm in a deep algorithm right now with robots on my feed, and I see the robot wars happening. China's coming out with crazy robots. Obviously, Elon, Boston Dynamics, and the fine motor skills on these things. I'm like, holy crap! You know, Elon says you don't even need to go to med school anymore. What a waste of time. I'm like, whoa. But right now, there's high schoolers that have multi-million-dollar agencies, clip farming, and I'm like, if you don't think in 5 to 7 years there's not going to be enterprising 17-year-olds that realize they can own an HVAC company because they can just go buy a bunch of robots to do like the actual delivery. I think that's going to happen, you know, sooner than we think. And so I'm curious, like because I think the most challenging part of the blue collar space is labor, and that's going to be all of a sudden abundant. So I wonder where that gives, you know, where that leads the opportunity. I think sales and creativity are not going to get replaced, but, it's like, interesting.
So I don't go too far out, and respectfully, like that might be in the next 2-3 years. I have no idea, but like, it's kind of one of the things I like about just like head down now. Like, I think we all have to get that way a little bit with our businesses because there's just so many predictions. And like a year ago, I was distressed because I was constantly thinking about it. Now I just go out in the field and do some shit that robots wouldn't know. I don't even know how to. I'm making it up as I'm doing it. You know what I mean? Like I am trying to enjoy work is partly what I'm trying to do. Like, and I don't know. Maybe this will all be done in 3 to 5 years. I want to have enough money that in 3 to 5 years that's fine, and then B, I just want to like my life in the meantime. And so part of it is a little bit of like ostrich in the like sand thing. I partly don't want to be part of that future if that's where it goes. And like we all just get to be leisurely on a beach. I love work and I like being out in the field and I love doing stuff. So I'll probably, no matter what happens, even if I'm poor or even if I'm like, we're all rich because, you know, whatever, like infinite energy or something. I just want to enjoy my day to day. And for me, that's like out in the field work and then creativity. And I like getting out of the office. And that's one of the best parts about starting a home service business is like just getting out of the house, like getting out of the house, getting out of the office, going on a roof. We put out about 3,000 yard signs in the Twin Cities, and I put out 1,500 of those personally, and to build the brand this year. And I think that this is my favorite thing. I loved doing it. It almost feels like free marketing because it's like I just believe in brand that much. I just want to see the logo. I want people to all have seen the logo before. And there are drawbacks to that particular strategy. So I'm not endorsing it 100%, But I think that like, that's just my style of what I want. I want to work outside sometime, like a good amount of the time. And I want to, be creative. So like I was telling you, like right before this, I'm working on a rap song about roofing. So I'm having fun.
That's fun. I feel
The
like you and I were
prediction,
probably
man,
separate.
I have no idea. If it goes that way, I don't think it's going to be that cool as time goes on. Like
Yeah.
I'm not going to be as obsessed with the blue collar space if it goes that way. I'm going to find whatever in those moments, like let's say it's 2 and 3 years from now, 5 years, whatever, whenever. I'm going to figure out what's going on where I can do work I enjoy. And I'm going to base it based on that moment and that year. And then I'm going to go try to do some of it. And mine will be physical. I'll probably have some physical stuff in there because I like the sun and I like being out.
Well, I mean, you're creative and resourceful. So I think
Yeah.
someone like you is going to figure it out. Not every contractor's like that. So,
Yeah.
last question. Who is
Yes,
one, you have a podcast, some of the most interesting guests you've had on the show?
You know, I've had
I listened to
some
the one with Tommy was fascinating. That was a really good episode.
Tommy is a great one. Honestly, I just had Lance Bachman on. He'll be out soon. I've enjoyed it's kind of like the people I look up to the most as home service businesses. Amanda August from Grasshopper Heating and Air is brilliant, and she's like creating this massive network of home. I like these people that are creating these networks of home service businesses that they're like the hub for, which Lance is like that. Amanda is like that. And then I look at these bigger, very well run, like roofing businesses, like Fraser Roofing. So the people from Fraser would be a good guest. And then I think about let's see, who's the other person? It's like kind of the people I look up to. Oh, Jake Bryden out of Texas, and he's now doing a roll up in the roofing space. He's like an $80 million guy. I kind of like look at these like one other one, DT Roofing, Randy Hurtado. Those are like my I kind of don't look. It's mean, but I just don't look at that many. I don't pay attention, and I get horse blinders on, and I look at like these $50 to $100 million or plus, and I just look at what they're doing, and I try not to pay attention to what people are saying on Facebook, even though I'm on there publishing a lot. I just don't take most people's advice.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Anything we haven't talked about today that you get excited about? Anything else that we haven't discussed?
No, just I think things I've been thinking about complements work, but isn't purely work, is like setting vision, set a vision for your life on a regular basis. Listen to it on audio. Like you can do things with 11 Labs now. You can read. I made like a trailer for my life in 3 years and had this 11 Labs narrator talking about how good it feels when Tim can be present as a father and set down his phone from 6 to 8 p.m. and the good energy that I can have. And so I'm trying to train my brain to get better with like my personal energy in like work, but at home. And those are things that are hard to do for me because I'm driven. But that's the new thing I'm working on. Is I don't want to just be rich and sad, and not say that most of them are, but it's not an uncommon thing. And I think I would like to be great energy, not only at work, but at home. So those are things I want to work towards. Super hard. It's just my vision. You know what I mean? I'm working on my vision.
I love it. Well, I can't thank you enough for coming on the podcast. Don't go anywhere. Well, where can people find out more about you real quick before we hop off?
Hookagency.com is the digital marketing company, SEO, PPC websites, AEO, and branding coming soon. And right now we've been rolling out Meta ads and people have been loving it. We've actually been getting a lower cost per lead on Meta and qualified leads than we were getting on Google, which is kind of crazy for the roofing company. And then Owl Roofing on YouTube, in social, if you want to kind of follow along the journey. And a lot of people might look over at what we're doing and say, I want to kind of do some more marketing like these guys are doing with Owl Roofing. So a lot of times it's a good example. And that's what we're trying to be, is a good example of like things you can do to get more customers. And I hope that our experience really does help both our clients and other home service businesses kind of move in the right direction.
I love it. Well, thank you again for coming on the podcast. Don't go anywhere because I want to keep talking, but thanks for coming on the show.
Yes, sir. Thank you.